Namaskaram. We at Nirvikalpa are very happy to have with us Guru Srimati Anita Guha for today's episode of Nirvikalpa Talks. Srimati Anita Guha has carved a niche for herself with several much lauded mythological Nritya Natakams and thematic dance productions. A cast of young students with fine dancing technique, a dramatic atmosphere, and remarkable choreography have made her productions unique, appealing, and inspiring to all. Her passion to teach youngsters led Anita to establish Bharatanjali in the year 1989. She is a pioneer in molding very young children to professional standards. Many of her students have blossomed into solo performers, teachers, and have been performing and teaching in India and abroad. She has more than 25 Nritya Natakams to her credit, and she is a recipient of various prestigious awards at state, national, and international levels. Namaskaram, Akka. Thank you so much for accepting to do this for Nirvikalpa Talks.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
33 years in the field of Bharatanatyam is no easy feat. How did you manage to do this, Akka, and what was your driving factor and what kept you moving forward?
I feel it's because I believe so much in God's will and decision. We are just puppets in a sense. That's what is my belief. So I feel I was just ordained to do this. And mainly the passion. What kept me going is the passion. And I started teaching because I loved children. That was how I started teaching Natyam. So that was how I started. And the reciprocation from the students also, the same love, affection and commitment from them. And of course their parents also. And I think that kept me moving. That brought me to this state. That's what I feel.
Who handheld you and supported you throughout this journey, Akka? Do you have any particular person that you would give credit to?
I think my parents are the main cause why I'm here. I mean, as an artist, my parents illata na onnume kedaiyadhu. And my mother being my first guru, she was the one who actually spotted that little talent in me, that I have some talent and some skill for Natyam. And it happened, it's a very interesting thing. My mother is a disciple of Guru Gopinath Thangamani, the very famous Yoyopo. But unfortunately, because of family reasons, she couldn't continue. But that passion and that fire was always there. She was a railway employee. We lived in a colony there. I lived in Hyderabad, Secunderabad, Twin Cities. So she used to just teach small pieces for these young children there. And I'll tell you something, Hyderabad, Secunderabad is nothing like Chennai, even now. Then you can imagine easily 55 years ago. So hardly any teachers or nothing to teach. So my mother was teaching something for the Kerala Samajam kids. So she was doing a Valli Kalyanam piece in that. The dance dramas, again, I think I have inherited that from her. We'll go deeper into that later. So in the dance drama, whatever little I saw, it seems I was just 3.5 then. I used to imitate. And when she saw me imitating, she said, okay, she has some interest and potential. So that's how it started. And the basic steps, she only taught me a few steps and things like that. And she made me do small, not the formal training. I won't say nothing like that because she was going to the office managing so many things. So the basic training, a little of training, and then I used to do small pieces. Like Kaliya Mardhanam, or chinna piece, and the Mari, I got into that. So I should always say that my mother is my first guru who started this, she kindled this interest in me. And my father, I have to again say, because the thing is, I have grown up hearing such beautiful, wonderful Purana stories from him. And I think more than my mother, I think my father was very passionate about Natyam and Sangeetam also. But again, I would say one thing here. See, it was just the love for Natyam or Sangeetam. It was not that, okay, my daughter has to perform, she has to become a professional, nothing of that sort. I was not grown up in that kind of atmosphere at all. It was basically the joy of dance. That was what was always taught to me. So I have been enjoying that even till today. I just enjoy that portion of it, the joy of making other children perform. So that was how I started. So my parents were there with me all through, and I should say even now. I think even now, without my mother, I don't know, my father, is no more, I have to tell you that. But even today, I don't think I would have reached whatever I am now without my parents. That is in the family. And of course, when I came to this, after my wedding, when I came here, definitely for any woman, definitely the in-laws and the husband need to support, otherwise nothing happens. So the first support comes from the family. Then, of course, I was blessed with lot of, lot of intellectual people around me. I should say like Dr. P.R. Venkata Subramaniam, Revati Shankranti in Chennai. I'm talking about Chennai. And of course, my other gurus, you've asked, I'll be coming to that also. So many people who have paved the way for me. They've taught me so much. I've learned so much from everybody. It's just not Natyam. It's so much we have learned from them. But I should say one thing. It is only just by affection and love from everybody's heart that has brought me to this level. That's what I feel.
Can you explain in brief on your time with your guru Govindarajan Pillai and what has changed in the field of Bharatanatyam then and now, and how the practice timetable was then and how has it changed now? Is it valid that it has changed like this?
I'll tell you. This again a very interesting story. As I told you earlier, my mother was my first guru. Then in school, I studied in Keys High School. I had the opportunity to again first start with Guru Radhakrishnan sir. Guru Radhakrishnan sir. That was for about 2 years or something. But then he was transferred to Madurai. So I didn't have anybody there, Chennai Lapo and the money, because my parents were working also. So it's I keep saying this, a lot of people are very surprised about it. I learned Bharatanatyam in Bangalore under Guru Govindarajan Pillai. The only reason being because my parents used to leave me in Bangalore for my holidays with my auntie. Because appallam the day care, night care ellam kolandaigalukku onnum kediyadhu. So I learned under Guru Govindarajan Pillai just always during my holidays. Or full 3 months, appallam 3 months kuda irukum, summer holidays ella. So I used to go there. I'll talk about my practice sessions. Before that, whatever I learned, அந்த காலத்திலே we used to tape recorder. We used to tape everything, even the songs, everything, and then come here. I remember practicing for that. And of course my mother to help me out. The practice sessions, I should tell you, was very difficult. I was telling you, see, I didn't have big aim or ambition or anything. I loved dance, that's a different thing. But that kind of practice sessions, whether I was ready for that kind of practice sessions when I was young, I won't say I was ready. Because master, he used to come early morning, and I lived in a joint family with my auntie and everybody, so many cousins, so it'll be all the time fun and frolic, all the cousins and everyone. So except me, everybody will have a lot of enjoyment there. He used to come morning 5:45, he'll be there at home. And taniya dhan kathunde, not in a group class or anything. Master will be there at home, and I still remember easily 3 hours for home class. Class 3 hours for. But to tell you honestly, I used to wait for the bell, 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock and I'll be waiting. So the class is over. So that was the initial stage, It was very tough. And now I understand, but not earlier at that age. See, I had already some influences, I had already learnt and all those things. But first when he saw me, he said, adella marandidu. But now as a teacher, I understand that. But at that time, it was very, it puzzled me. Then again, I went back to Advis, right from the beginning now. From the Advis, Onona, that way. He was not I wouldn't say he was a very strict teacher, but I think, I think, and I being the only daughter and a very shy person, an introvert, so even to say something to master, like, it'd be very scary. Like, whenever you start, no questions asked. I think our generation was like that. No questions asked. And every time he would make us do the advice first. Like, advice was most important thing. And afterwards, one by one the item. So the whole session is to go on like that. And I had that fortune that when I had a program, of course, my mother used to sing and do the Natvangam also. So that issue I didn't have much. But he did come to Secunderabad. அப்போலாம் ரொம்ப ப்ரோக்ராம் எல்லாம் ஒன்றும் இருக்காது. லைக் இருக்கிற சின்ன சின்ன ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ்க்கு he used to come, sometimes help me with the items. And there was a very, very interesting fact I should say, because I was so much on my own. In the sense, இப்போ கூடயே இப்போ நான் இருக்கிற மாதிரியோ இப்போ இங்கே இப்போ இருக்கிற டீச்சர்ஸ் மாதிரியோ I never had like that, right? So I think that also kindled that little interest and creativity in me. The kutti dance production. When I was just 12 years old, I did a dance production. That's not it's a very small one. That was Mohini Basmasura. Because we were involved in this Kerala Samajam, Tamil. See, for us, it is not Sabhas there, in Secunderabad, Hyderabad. All small associations, Tamil Sabha, not Sabha, organization, Malala. So during the festival time, we'll have a program. Those were the opportunities we had. So, idu solvale. Like, appala nariya per, they don't learn also. So hardly anybody. So schooling, just one or two of us, we were the great heroines of the school. And of course, even in our colony and everywhere. So they used to call us out. And the Kerala Samajam asked me to choreograph something on Basmasara Mohini. That was my little production. See, I didn't have any music. I didn't know any music composer, nothing. At 12, what do you know at the age? But just that interest and the fire. So what I did was, I just took up all the slokams, whatever I knew. Then whatever little tune I could make myself, it was like that. Then of course my mother helped me. And I did one thing was, the Paras Tilana, what I learned under master, I transferred it to the Mohini and the Baswasar. That is the Lasyamo and the Tandava style. Like, I just changed it a little. And he came. When he came, I just showed it to him. But I have to say that I was blessed. He never, he never got angry or nothing. He just gave me a few suggestions. In fact, Mohini innu eppadi pannanungara andha mari things, and he encouraged me for that. So again, you asked me a previous question. I was saying, like, a lot of good people paved path for me. So this is one of my master's generosity. Enna kuழந்தை ஒண்ணும் தெரியாது, why have you done like this? Nothing like that. You're so generous. And நான் கொடுத்ததில்லை, நான் இப்படி பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கேன், nothing of that sort. So I think that broad outlook came from them itself, that initial thing. So that was how I started with him. And my learning was all the time like this only. Like every time, whenever I found time, I used to go to Bangalore, learn from him, get the recordings, practice on my own. So a few programs like that. So as I said, see, it was more for the love of learning an art form. It was not for anything beyond that. And I think I have to frankly tell you one thing. But on the culture, the Varnams, especially the Sringaram Varnams, I was quite young initially. Yeah. So when I learned them, to tell you honestly, I just couldn't connect to it. I didn't follow it. And I was not interested. Honestly, I was not interested at all. Dance pidichirundhathu, but subject pidikala. I couldn't connect to it at all. And as I was saying, like, you can't say anything. Andha mari. See, he was very nice, generous and all, but you can't say I don't like this. அது சொல்ல முடியாது மாஸ்டர்கிட்ட. So that is also one of the reasons why my interest into this Bhakti and dance dramas, it took off in that sense. And ஒன்று சொல்லுவா இல்லையா, ஒரு ரொம்ப கட்டுப்பாடோட வளரலைனா, இந்த மாஸ்டர் கூடிய இல்லை இப்படி தான் பண்ணணும் அப்படி அந்த மாதிரி வளரலைனா. So that is one reason why I am what I am now. Sometimes that also helps. And definitely, and I have to tell you, Arangetram, see, my parents were just middle class people. We couldn't afford a big Arangetram and all. We didn't even think about it. But I still remember in my cousin's wedding, one of my cousin's wedding, Master Solito, then we had a evening during the reception. It was a full Margam presentation. And அப்போவும் மார்க்கமெல்லாம் அப்போ வந்து the old kind, I should say, it was again almost 3 hours. There was other than the Alaripu, Jataswaram, Shabdam, Varnam எல்லாம், and அப்போல்லாம் நல்ல சவுக்க காலத்தில் தான் இருக்கும் வர்ணம் எல்லாம் கூட ரொம்ப டீப்பாக டெப்த்தோடு அப்படி தான் இருக்கும். And the second halfல வந்து பதங்கள் இருக்கும், ஜாவளி எல்லாம் இருக்கும். Again there will be one பாம்பு டான்ஸ், ஒரு குரத்தி இருக்கும், அப்புறம் தில்லானா இருக்கும். நம்ம ட்ரெஸ் மாற்றின்னு வர வரைக்கும் எல்லோரும் வெயிட்டும் பண்ணுவா. ஸோ தட் வாஸ் த சிச்சுவேஷன். ஸோ ஐ ஸ்டில் ரிமெம்பர் தட். இட் வாஸ் ஐ மீன் ஐ ஷுட் சே தட் அப்போ நான் ரொம்ப பேஷனேட்டாக பண்ணினேன்னா ஐ டோன்ட் நோ. ஐ மீன் ஐ வாஸ் ஹார்ட்லி 12 or 13 அந்த ஏஜில். பட் டெஃபினெட்லி ஐ டிட் இட் ஃபார் மை பேரண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஃபார் மாஸ்டர். That was how it was. So my experience as master is a wonderful thing. And I should also tell you, see, ivlo vayas kaprama, then when I was about 17 or 18, by that time I had already started doing a lot of small productions like this. Better than Basasraman, like that. And Dr. Ananda Shankar Jayant had come from Kalakshetra. She had graduated. She was there. And I loved the Kalakshetra style. And not like Chennai again, we hardly saw any dancers. I mean, the exposure was absolutely nil. We had one Kalasagaram and Ramanami festival there. Both are very good festivals. And we had Dr. Padma Subrahmanyam, then Dhananjayan Master, and so many, all the, veterans now performing there once in a while. So all that was really very inspiring, I should say, or age kaprama. And then the Kalakshetra Bani also, as I saw it, I really loved the style. So then when Anandaka came, I told master that can I, and the adavu mukkiyama enakku romba pidikum, the grammar. So can I just learn this romba deepa, just Anandaka is again a family friend of ours. So that way. So for 1.5 years I did learn the Kalakshetra Bani. So these are my experiences as student with master. But with master it was lovely, great times. He was a very generous, very nice man, but a very strict one too. And I should tell you, like, inge vande Aishwarya, my first students Arangetam, he had come here to bless me. He had come to Chennai. So I'm blessed to have them. That's all I should say.
When you're too much involved in dancing and it is very overwhelming, what is your go-to activity, Akka? Cooking, reading, anything like that?
Yeah, I actually love reading also. But after a point I stopped reading much. I mean, other than our own subjects, The reason being, I can't keep a book away. Like once I start reading, I'll say, go to hell. Let me finish the book. So that's the kind of attitude I have. So slowly I stopped reading storybooks and all that. But one thing I love is comedy. So I do watch comedy shows on TV. And my latest now being the stand-up comedies, I love watching that also. I mean, when I'm at the end of the day, just a few minutes of that just to laugh it out. It's nice. That's what I do. Of course, once upon a time I used to cook lots. But now, to tell you honestly, I've stopped that also. Not much.
Auntie, on a serious note, how important is it to visit a sthala before even taking that up in your dance productions? Do you think it deeply reflects in the way the sthala is portrayed, or for that matter, the god in that particular place is portrayed?
For this question, I have to tell you, actually, I have never done it that way. இப்போதான் இந்த மாதிரி வந்து பட் டெஃபினெட்லி அது பண்ணுறவாளுக்கு, I mean, whoever's done it, definitely I think it will have an impact. For me, it's always like it's through books, it's through people. Whatever resource I have, it's all through. If I'm taking a particular subject, then I really read whatever is available. So, but then I should say that when you reading a book itself, when it is going to give you so much of visual, you're able to visualize so much, then if you're going visiting that place, definitely it will have a better impact. Yeah, I feel that way. But I have not done it. I'm mostly confined to my class or my home. So I mean, whatever I do is from home.
Have you ever gotten negative comments for your productions, Akka? If so, how do you cope with it? How do you manage it? And how do you keep moving forward?
By God's grace, எனக்கு வந்து I have not got, criticism not much for my production. Somehow or the other, lucky I have been, right from the beginning it's been accepted. I should say it was a path-breaking thing. I should definitely say that. Because 30 years ago, when I started off in Chennai with my productions, it was a new thing where so many young students I used. I was always applauded for the way the youngsters were used, and especially in such a professional way. So that took over. Maybe one or two comments might be about my loud costume, not about the natyam or about the subject. So maybe about the loud costumes and things like that. But I have faced criticism in my solo programs, I should tell you. Solo programs, because I was even called mixed style. No, but that again it didn't come deliberately. See, I had the opportunity to have that Vazhur initially, then my master Pandanallu, and my liking for the Kalakshetra. So whatever, and of course, being in a cosmopolitan city in Hyderabad, I had lovely opportunities working in Kathak productions, where Gopal Rao sir was a very, very popular guru. See, I had that opportunity. See, it's all what went inside you and what is already God has given to you. So when that comes out, it comes in a different form. See, and the art வந்து ஒரு தடை கிடையாது. That's what I feel like. You can't, இப்படி தான் syllabus. I'm not like that at least. So I had this comment. But now, see, that has become path-breaking thing. Now the styles are gone away mostly. But 25 years, 30 years ago, I was criticized for the same. See, that's what I'm saying. You might be, I heard it from somebody else also, and I too believe in it. If you believe in what you're doing, please don't worry about the criticism. If you think you're right and you feel happy about it, just go ahead with that. But at the same time, very constructive criticism, if somebody gives you an opinion and if it is true, we have to change it. We definitely have to change it. Costumes, the loud costumes, I have not changed much because I love elaborate costumes. And that has again become a trend. Like a lot of productions, everybody is using now. That's what I honestly feel. And one more thing, I come from the Andhra Pradesh, yeah. So I'm so used to that colorful, loud costume there. So it is basically the atmosphere you grow in, that definitely influences in what you're doing. I mean, that's what I feel.
Also, Auntie, all your productions are based on Bhakti Marga. Do you think nowadays this is slightly changed because the new generation dancers are going ahead and taking abstract concepts and performing? And is it necessary to confine Bharatanatyam to Bhakti? And also, how do you think that this can be translated to the Gen Z? Because I don't see many of the dancers like appreciating different varnams or exterior varnams, and now
right.
that it is like fully changed, how do you think your ideology is put forth to the next generation? Because you do it and a lot of your students are part of your production. So how do you make them understand about this?
Yeah. See, Bhakti, for me, without Bhakti, everything is meaningless. So first, people who come up to me, they have to understand that. See, I cannot do anything unrelated to that. I'm basically made that way. In fact, நீ கிரிட்டிசிசம்னு சொன்னப்போ ஐ ஈவன் காட் அ கமெண்ட் லைக் எதுவாக இருந்தாலும் அனிதா அதில் வந்து ஒரு டிவோஷன் கொண்டு வந்துருவான்னு. ஸோ ஐ மீன் மை மைண்ட் ஒர்க்ஸ் தட் வே. ஸோ yes, I should tell you that I think I have made it interesting to my students, the Bhakti itself. Like, it has to be interesting and it has to be accepted. Yeah, for that, I think, again, it's not a deliberate move, I'm just like that. I feel that storytelling capacity is one thing. I think maybe I imbibed it from my father or whatever it might be. So, telling a story has been my forte, and definitely telling it the convincing way has again been my, I mean, I should say, what should I say? It's my style of performance. And I have to tell you this also, in my school, I mean, my students, till now I have never seen anybody questioning this, questioning Bhakti. Fortunately, I have all people who are able to relate to this so much, or like-minded people. So I never had this issue. But again, see, I won't say that it is wrong. Again, what I'm saying is, it's arts, and it's each one's liberty to portray what they want to do. You want to do an abstract theme, go ahead and do it. If people like it, let them watch it. If you want, and Bhakti, I want to just tell you one thing. If Bhakti is not relatable, then why are, I'm talking about 30 years ago, there were only 2-3 institutions, 2-3 institutions who took up Bhakti as a main subject. I mean, especially, see, Bhakti in Chulumbad, I'm talking about productions only. Ipo Margathla Bhakti will come to that later. For that, I'm criticized also. That's what I'm saying. So, so in productions, only 2-3 people are doing. I can tell you much for it. But now, almost everybody is into group productions. Everybody is doing Bhakti-related themes. Why? It's being welcomed by the audience. And Shankara TV, they have Bhakti festivals, and நம்ம டான்ஸுக்கு கூட அவ்வளோ கூட்டம் வராது. லைக் இந்த பக்தி ஃபெஸ்டிவல்ஸ்க்கு என்ன மாதிரி ஒரு கூட்டம் வருது. அண்ட் சி ஒர்க்கிங் வித் துஷ்யந்த்ஜி, லைக் ஐ நோ, இப்போ வந்து இந்த பிரவச்சனத்துக்கும் இந்த இதுக்கும் வர ஒரு கூட்டம் எதுக்காக வருதா? அப்படியே அல்ல மோதுறது. ஸோ தென் வேர்ஸ் அ கொஸ்டின் தட் பக்தி இஸ் நாட் அக்செப்டட் ஆர் யாருக்கும் பிடிக்கலைங்கிற கொஸ்டினே இதில் வரல. தட்ஸ் வாட் ஐ ஃபீல் நவ். ஸோ எவ்ரிபடி டெஃபினெட்லி கடவுள் பிலீஃப் இருக்கிறவா தான் நிறைய இருப்பா, அந்த இவாளும் இருப்பா. பட் அகெயின் இட்ஸ் தேர், ஐ மீன் தேர் ஒப்பீனியன். For dancers, what I feel is, as I told you, is again what you want to do. That's very important. And if you are liked for it, it's fine. We are nobody to question that. I can only say it has to be in the decent level. Whatever we present, acidica, beautiful, absolutely no vulgarity. It has to be that. I mean, that's what I believe in. Whatever you might do. It might be a modern theme, it might be a Bhakti related theme, it can be Sringaram, it can be anything. But there's a line which has to be drawn. That's what I believe in. One more thing is in the abstract themes. Now coming to the Margam of Bhakti and the Sringaram Rajarasam, Sringaram Poidla. Yes, I do a lot of Sringaram pieces also, I do. See, but again I have to tell you here, I left dancing very early. I was just 20, 21. I had already stopped dancing. I was married, I came over here. And it was just God's will that I came back to this. And it has been my passion to Nritya Natakams and passion towards children and passion towards dance that I'm all that now. So I think deep down in my heart, I have not really dwelt so much in Sringaram. And especially being I had a male master, we never had tani for Abhinayamku tani class, nothing of that sort. So even now, see what I tell my students, see if you want to learn that style of Abhinayam, Kalani Mami style of Abhinayam is very popular. And I always tell them, go to people who know that, who has learned it very well. So we have to, I feel the gurus have to be very clear in that also. See, when you don't want to teach something, you can always ask your student to go and learn somewhere else. That's also there. And what I related to is, I just came across one performance recently where, because that dancer, the dancer felt that her friends are not connecting to the varnams we are doing, as you said. Ennappa ipa paar wait panninde irukena innu varade illa. I mean, that kind of such a bore, what always doing the same thing. In fact, we joke in our class. Okay, we are going to neenga aludunde irukka koodadhu idula vande. So whether your nayaka comes or not, it doesn't come. Then I mean the heroine has to be happy. I mean, we keep saying that. So what has changed, made a change in that? I mean, she has created something where I don't need a Nayaka. Like I can be on my own. So those kind of themes are also coming. And it was very, very well appreciated. See, again, அது குத்தம் சொல்றதுக்கு 100 பேர் இருப்பா. அது எப்படி ட்ரெடிஷனை மாற்றலாம், அது இருப்பாடா இருக்கும். But அதையும் தாண்டி, if people are liking it, you present it for them. That's all. It's as simple as that. I mean, the audience and the artists, both of them have that freedom to do what they want. I mean, to choose what they want. I mean, I honestly feel it that way. And you are asking about, for my students, as I told you, I have not come across that yet. I hope I won't. In case I come across students who don't relate to Bhakti, and I always like to postpone my problems. When it comes, let me see what I'm going to do.
Also, Auntie, previously in Varnams, because we touched upon that, even though it was Sringaram, do you think the poet had written it being a Jivatma and Paramatma connection? And is it necessary for the Guru to translate this to the student so that they understand that even though it is Sringaram, there is a baseline of Bhakti in it?
I have few opinions on this. See, it is again the Jivatma Paramatma concept. I mean, being a dance teacher myself, I should say that a younger Anita couldn't understand that, nor even now my mind may not accept it. I'm doing it because I'm a dancer. See, I cannot see God in that way. Okay, they say according to Vaishnava Sampradayam also, it is Paramatma is just Purushottama, one. The rest are all the female genders. Yeah, even males, females were craving to reach him. That is okay. But அது வந்து இந்த மோடு Sringaramங்கிறது வந்து எனக்கு அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்க, எனக்கு என்னால் அவ்வளோ முடியல. And I also feel a lot of things were written upon. You were asking me whether the poets thought about it. We don't know how many poets wrote it that way, or how many of them just wrote it to entertain the kings. I mean, this is a question I have. I mean, somebody has to enlighten me on this. I mean, I feel like that. I mean, I honestly feel this. I have not, in fact, I have not publicly told about this. I have discussed it with my students. But when you asked me, I thought I should dwell on this. Because ஒருத்தர் என்ன நினைக்கிறாங்கிறது நமக்கு என்ன தெரியும்? How do we know it? We might make so many, அவ அப்படிதான், இவ அப்படிதான், இப்படிதான் அவ நினைச்சிருக்கணும், இப்படிதான் அவ எழுதியிருக்கணுங்கிறது we think about it. But actually what has happened, we don't know. It can be any way. People might have really related that to God, the ஜீவாத்மா பரமாத்மா அந்த ஒரு இதில் வந்து தத்துவத்தோடு எழுதியிருக்க சான்ஸ் இருக்குது. It can be the other way also. So that's what it is. Again, as I told you, to me, it's so individualistic. Each one follow what you like. As long as the decency is kept, it's fine. நான் வந்து இந்த Sringaram பற்றி பேசிட்டு இருக்கும்போது, like what to me, I feel like, see, a lot of poets, like Annamacharya எடுத்துட்டாலே, see, he has written the beautiful Sringaram between Lord Venkatachalamurthy and Alabenu Mangatayar. அது வந்து I can accept it. நான் யாரும் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறது இல்லை. My mind accepts to that. I mean, I love to do that kind of Sringaram also. I love to do it because the poetry அவ்வளோ பியூட்டிஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். அன்னமாச்சாரியாவோடதும் சரி. Because Annamacharya, why I am talking about there might be many more poets. அந்த மாதிரி பகவானையும் ஐ மீன் அம்பாளையும் வச்சு எழுதினவா நிறைய இருக்கே. அந்த மாதிரி இப்போ கந்த புராணத்தில் வருது, சிவபுராணத்தில் வருது, அந்த மாதிரி சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும்போது, அண்ட் ஈவன் ஃபார் கிருஷ்ணா அண்ட் ராதே, சி அப்படி எடுத்துட்டா இப்போது ஜெயதேவாஸ் அஷ்டபதி ஆல்சோ, why is it so popular? It's so popular. Even now it's so fresh. So the divinity is still there. People are able to connect the romance and the divinity together, I feel. So that way, I think I love to do those kind of subjects. Even if it's a Varnam based on that, maybe I think we're talking, it's a new thought, like we can do something based on that. Varnams can be made like that also. So it's another opening madri la. So that part of it, I like it a lot.
What advice would you give, Auntie, for the new age teachers like me? Anything important that we have to keep in mind while we translate this art form to the next generation?
One thing I always tell my students, be what you are. Don't be Xerox of anybody, no copies of anybody, be original. I think any artist, the dancer or the teacher, we need to remember this. I feel that's extremely important. When you're passing on your art to somebody, definitely what you've learned from your gurus will stay with you. And I feel, as I said, change is the one which is constant. Definitely maybe you'll add on a little more to it. That's fine. That might look very beautiful also. And it might not look nice also, but we keep trying. We keep learning through our mistakes and through errors also, we keep learning. So when we think, even the teachers or the students always feel that we have not achieved anything, we just have to further learn. That's the only thing. Learn, practice. I think that's very important for a student and a teacher. For me, that originality is the most important thing. Because I feel nowadays once one particular thing is successful, immediately everybody starts doing the same thing again. So then you're not unique. you're not different. After a point of time, it might get boring. It has to be very different. Each artist, and I think only when that artist creates that, they're extremely successful also. Their own identity. Only then it's very successful. I feel like that. And of course, it's God's will to be successful or not to be successful. But the path, I'm talking about the path.
Auntie, do you believe in choreographing each piece according to a particular student? Do you do that in your class?
Yes.
Do you change the steps for one particular student because it will sit nicely on her?
Yes, very much. It is not only for the adavis, it is also for the abhinay. To tell you honestly, especially for a margam. See, a group, because I'm dealing with both, that's why I'm telling you. In a group, the synchronization, all those things are important. So everybody needs to dance in the same way and things like that. But even then, characters can be different. But in a margam, to tell you honestly, especially as I'm growing older, I was telling my students, I'm not liking margam group classes at all. I'm not finding it enjoyable. I really love to work that one-to-one classes, because that makes it very beautiful, because you have the time to sit down with one child, you have the time to analyze, and basically the rapport between the student and the teacher also grows. And sometimes what happens, the teacher doesn't even have to tell the student. Even when you look at her, she knows what you want. That of course even in a general class they do learn, but this is more when this happens. Definitely according to even நாட்டியாரம்ம பொசிஷன்லேருந்து ஆரம்பிச்சு கை வந்து இப்படி நீட்டுறது இப்படி நீட்டணுமா இல்லை லைட்டாக திருப்பி வைக்கணுமாங்கிறதுலேருந்து ஆரம்பிச்சு it is changing for each and every body. Certain things look very nice on certain people but not very good on the others. So it has to change. So when that is the case, see, it's so unique to each person. Yes, I do change. And I love doing the change also. In fact, the same item I never remember. When I teach, already it's different. And it's more challenging to do different things on it. Yes.
Also, Auntie, your students are seasoned performers. How much of hard work do they do in class? What is the time that you give your students?
Yeah.
That is very important, and that reflects on stage.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that my students are seasoned performers. We are only trying to be, that's all. Yes, it is absolutely very, very important, especially for a solo performer. It is also important that she works on her own. See, when they are very young, we tell them, please don't practice at home. Because you get the wrong things, it's even more difficult to correct them. But once you know what is right and what is wrong, what looks good on you, I mean, as you say, they're already in the professional standards. They're trying to do something. First thing I would say is, it is not enough that you depend on the teacher alone. Self-practice is a must. In fact, I tell them, every day take up or 45 minutes adavis. Then afterwards, just work on one initial invocatory item. Then varnam, at least, okay, if you can do the whole varnam, or at least one half of the varnam, then atilana. So this very important, this everyday practice is very important. And of course, personally, when I give a class to a student, in fact, that also happens, I have to tell you that. See, initially for a teacher, when she begins, for your seniors, see, we have a few seniors who actually got into this. So you have less number of people. I remember for my first set of students, I remember sitting with them even for 6 hours continuously. But even now, even if I wish to, I can't. And to reach out the same way to every person, அப்போ வந்து ஒருத்தர் 4 பேர் ஆடின்றதானா இப்போ 20 பேர் ஆடுறாங்க சீசன்லேயே. So it is extremely taxing for the teacher also. And now with the group shows also we have to balance. Of course, we have our faculty help, our own senior students and other faculty people also who are helping us. But we see that whether it's an arangetram or a performance, we see that they get enough practice. And kandipa, it's minimum of 2 hours we need for a solo performance. Only then it really, works at least a little. So self-practice and what the teachers give, it's extremely important.
So, self-practice?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Practice is, I should say, like, and practice பார்க்கலனா எனக்கு ரொம்ப டென்ஸ்ட் ஆயிடுவேன். So I have to keep on saying practice. I'm happy when more than the program, I like the practice.
ஸோ ஆண்டி நீங்கள் சொல்லும்போது ப்ராக்டிஸ் சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, ஸோ செல்ஃப் ப்ராக்டிஸ். ஸோ இப்போ சின்ன குழந்தைகளுக்குலாம் இப்போது கற்றுக் கொடுத்தா வாட் தே டூ இஸ் தே கோ ஹோம் அண்ட் தே ஸ்விட்ச் ஆன் த யூடியூப் அண்ட் தேர் லாட்ஸ் ஆஃப் வீடியோஸ் தேர். அதை பார்த்து தே ப்ராக்டிஸ் அண்ட் தே கம். ஸோ தே டோன்ட் ஈவன் ரியலைஸ் தட் த ஸ்டைல் இஸ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் அண்ட் தே ஸ்டார்ட் டான்சிங் லைக் தேம்.
That's what I'm saying, Kana. Initially, when even parents ask, "Ava practice panna vitla," I said, no need at all. They just have to 200% listen to their teachers in the class. Initially, absolutely not necessary. I'm talking about this only when you go to a level where you're performing every time. You are a seasoned performer. That's what you are. Then to maintain standards, you need to practice and practice and practice. Otherwise, when you're a learner, actually, as you say, definitely, and especially with the kind of influence now, each day they'll be in a different style. So it's better not to practice. I'm not saying it's wrong, but not when you're learning. See, after learning, when you are doing something, as I told you, whatever has gone inside you will come out naturally. That has to grow.
What do you think about handling two professions, having a dancing career and also having a professional degree and working for that? Do you think it is important to maintain both or do you think at one point of time you'll have to leave one or the other to maintain your thinking capabilities in both? Do you think you can attain 100% in both?
It's quite a difficult question. See, because dancers' power. See, dance, we have only absolute joy of performing. There's no money at all in that. It's only spending all the time. So now, how do I tell my student, keep dancing all the time, you needn't go for a job. And for dancers, the only way to earn is also, again, take classes. That's also, it's not easy at all, it's so taxing. After a point, it's so taxing. So I tell my students, like, don't take too much. If you're too inclined to performing, then don't take too much of teaching initially, at least initially. It is, I honestly feel it is very difficult to justify both together. I honestly feel that. But at the same time, the practicality of the issue. The dancer has to support herself. So then she has to take a profession also. But as you say, maybe after a point of time, when she can really, I don't know when that will happen, but when she is, she has enough for her dance and things like that, then they can leave out so many of my students, they're all mostly chartered accountants. They're managing both. To a certain level, it's fine, ma'am. But at the same time, they'll be missing out on a lot of things also. And total dance again, நாட்டியமோ சங்கீதம் எதாக இருந்தாலும் it is a full-time thing. அதுக்கு கற்றுக்கிறதுக்கும் ஒரு ஃபுல் ஸ்டாப் கிடையாது, அதில் பண்ணுற விஷயத்துக்கும் ஃபுல் ஸ்டாப். தட் இஸ் ஒரு மேஜர் ஹைட் ரீச் பண்ணணும்னா அது போய் ஆகணும். யூ வில் ஹாவ் டு ஏதாவது ஒன்று சாக்ரிஃபைஸ் பண்ணணும். But again, you are choosing, no, I am happy dancing in whatever opportunities I am getting. I am also happy with the profession I am having. You don't have too much of இத்த பண்ணோம் அத்த பண்ணோம் அந்த மாதிரி இல்லாமல் இருந்தால் they are happy. But again, I feel, again, it's so individualistic. There are so many people, doctors are they are managing this. Irkale, MBA படிச்சவாலும் they are managing it. again, it's quite individualistic. I don't think இதுக்காக அதை விடணும்னு நான் சொல்கிறது கரெக்ட் இல்லையோன்னு எனக்கு தோணும். Because we have all sorts of people in the world who are able to manage everything. But again, to what point?
So, Auntie, if
That's
you
very
take me,
Yeah, please.
so I'm a dentist. So I work as a assistant professor at Savita. So it does really get taxing having my dance class and me going performing and
Yes.
managing this
That's
also.
right, medical
So
medicine.
I'm always in this dilemma, idu vidlama adu vidlama, but both science and dance are my passion. So I'm just stuck in between.
But finally, whichever passion takes you over, you will be that.
Yes.
It will happen.
Yes, it will
In
happen
your
in
course
due
of
course of
time, that will happen. You will choose your path. Or you might be in everything. See, as I told you, we have lovely dancers who are doctors also. They manage, especially in the US and all, they're managing. And especially, I wonder, US, they don't have any help. We have our parents helping, we have our maids helping. With all this, we manage so many things. But there, without any outside help, they're managing so many things. They're so again, it's I think the life which throws challenge at you. You learn to survive that. But again, that's what I'm saying, ma. Like, if you want to be ஒரு performance level ஒன்று இருக்குல்ல. What I'm saying is 100% you're thinking only about that, na, then this will become difficult. But if you're happy the way you are, like whatever opportunities I'm getting, I'm performing. So it's for the joy of performance. And okay, I'm also a doctor, I'm doing all this. So if you're happy with that, then what's the issue? You can continue both.
Yeah.
Though it's difficult,
Yes.
with those two passions, then you can continue both. It's only beyond that, if you're traveling all the time, those kind of people. Like, see, now I chose, I can totally tell you my experience. Okay, I stopped dancing, but even as a teacher, I didn't, my family also was not ready, in the sense, to have me out for so long, like, in the sense, that is how I started. I came into a joint family, and that I started as a passion. But even now, I have drawn my line. Like, I don't go out much. I mean, even traveling, my students have gone for the US trip. I'm fine with it. I'm happy. As long as I did my job, I did my job well, they're going, I'm fine with that. So again, it is personal satisfaction of what you're doing. எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஆசைப்பட்டா, then that's a different game altogether.
Yes. Auntie, speaking about financial constraints, how have you managed your funding for your productions? Can you share with us your financial formula?
Yes, I can definitely. Again, that's as I say, some things God decides for you. I believe. Definitely, one reason why I started productions was to give opportunity to my students. Because again, if அந்த காலத்தில் சொல்கிறேன், they do their அரங்கேற்றம் எல்லாம், then afterwards you won't even touch your shalanga, it will be lying there. That was ஒரு டைமில் that was the situation prevailing. And you hardly social media இப்போ எவ்வளோ இருக்கா அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றுமே கிடையாது. So lovely talented people, I mean, they don't get any opportunity. They won't even be known. That was the situation I'm talking about, easily 35 years ago, or even more maybe. It's my experience I'm talking about. So when I started this, and again I should say, the popularity I got through the production. Like initially it was a small thing. I used to do in temples, in a small way. But my students' parents started, it was more, they loved it. And I have to tell you, like, I started this class basically for the middle class section. And that was my idea, in a very nominal fee and things like that. So I think maybe the confidence which they developed in me, I had great parents' support. That is, my senior parents by way of sponsors also. லைக் அவளுக்கு தெரிஞ்சவாளுக்கு சொல்லி அந்த மாதிரி தான். இன்ஃபேக்ட் டு டெல் யூ ஆனஸ்ட்லி, எனக்கு ப்ரோக்ராம் கொரியோகிராஃப் பண்ண தெரியுமே தவிர அந்த மற்ற செக்ஷன்லாம் எனக்கு ஒன்றுமே தெரியாது. ஐ டோன்ட் நோ எனிதிங். ஐ ஜஸ்ட் டோன்ட் நோ. I should definitely say it was all my parents, my friends, because they liked my work. Oh, this has to go. That was how it was initiated initially. That was, and like doing in sabhas, and especially maybe they were thrilled also to see their younger children get opportunities like this, at least on stage. That is one reason. Secondly, as I performed and we earned a sort of a good name, then I started doing commissioned projects. Then it's much easier. No, but that again, commission projects, okay, for that one show it's fine.
Then we have to keep.
The problem comes when season la sabhas la pannartha. Again, I feel like, see, I cannot leave out sabhas because for whatever I am now, the sabhas are the reason. See, they gave me opportunity. They have encouraged our students, for everyone, isn't it so? And they have their own issues also. So, andamari irkacha, they are also looking for sponsors. We are also looking for sponsors now. But it's becoming very difficult also because the number has grown now. Sponsors எவ்வளோ பேருக்கு தருவா அந்த மாதிரி ஆயிட்டு. டெஃபினெட்லி வந்து அந்த சிறுதுடி பெருவெள்ளம் மாதிரி தான். I can tell you one recent example. Ayodhya. By God's grace, Ayodhya வந்து immediately we had an opportunity to perform there. The government வந்து இதுலேருந்து வந்துடுது, சங்கீத் நாடக அகாடமிலேருந்து வந்துடுது, that we have to perform பரிசுரங்க பட்டாபிஷேகம். We are about 30 artists. And இப்போ வந்து மேக்கப் மேன் கூட ஃப்ளைட்டில் தான் வர முடியும், யாருக்கும் டைம் கிடையாது. That's another very big question mark. So all the technicians, all the dancers, all of us have to go by flight and come back by flight. And there are dancers who can afford it. There are, but so many dancers who can't afford it. But honestly, I tell you, it was just Srirama's grace, I think. We hadn't any time also. And government they are giving us money, but that is nowhere it fits our budget. So it was just by word of mouth that we are going to Ayodhya. We had such wonderful people just giving us just 5,000, 2,000, whatever they can. And to tell you honestly, வேறு எந்த ப்ரோக்ராமுக்கு இப்படி வந்ததே இல்லை. It was again ஒரு 10-15 daysல, and of course we had some major contributors also, their kindness, and that's how we went and came back. Otherwise it's very difficult. And one more simple thing I want to say is, they all know, whoever's working with me, they all know that, in fact, I keep only spending money for this. I don't earn through, productions are my joy. So we might spend money, but we don't get anything. Get anything இல்லை, அதுக்கு யோசிக்கவே கூடாது முதல்ல. அது ஒரு பூஜை மாதிரி தானே பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். So it will go like that. So I think the kind of confidence, again, by Swami's grace, what I developed among my students and the parents and the well-wishers, only that has kept me going till today. Even till February, that was what kept me going.
And also there are lots of changes happening. How do you perceive change? The face of change and the pace of change. How do you perceive it?
What change?
In the dance field, the way the performance is being looked at and the number of audiences coming for the solo programs, do you think there can be some change in that aspect? As a soloist, I feel that only my close relatives or somebody who I have invited only comes for the performances. So what else can be done? Do you think all the general public are more attracted to the social media and they think Natyam is only restricted to that few minutes? How can we broaden the audience?
This is a big challenge actually. Because as you say, especially for even the most beautiful dancers, that's what I'm saying, That is that magic's. But I'll tell you one more thing, ma'am. Those were all top dancers, many of them didn't have any audience in the beginning. I keep telling, I'm just telling you as I tell my student. See, it's not that you keep working. Like I read it on Swami's in the book Lana. God is a cameraman. You be ready. You don't know when he'll click. I keep telling that to them. Again, I keep telling them this also because this is becoming a regular problem for everybody. I tell them that please don't concentrate just in the Chennai, around Chennai, in the Sabhas, Tirupati. I said every year you work so much and you just get your, as you say, your kith and kin, it's pointless. But Anna, I can also tell you one thing. Don't you think it has improved more than before? I feel audience வந்து ஒரு ஸ்டேஜில் ஒரு சோலோ, ஐம் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் சோலோ பர்ஃபார்மன்ஸ் தான். குரூப்புக்கு வந்து என்றைக்குமே நிறைய அந்த குரூப் ஒர்க்குக்கு நல்ல ஆடியன்ஸ் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக வருது, அதுக்கு வருது. பட் சோலோ பர்ஃபார்மன்ஸஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப சீனியர்ஸ் அக்ளைம்ட் ஆர்டிஸ்ட் அவளுக்கெல்லாம் நிறைய வருது, அதில் வந்து ஒன்றும் சந்தேகமே கிடையாது. வி ஆர் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் only the promising solos who are coming up. அவளை பற்றி தான் பேசணும். So first thing, as I told you, as I tell my other students, you will have to wait for your time. When God clicks, it will click. Secondly, I feel initially there was, I think at least 10 years ago. 10 years ago, maybe I was a little concerned like how this solo is going to take up for the youngsters. How are they going to manage? But then, see, self-realization again is this art can never die. In the sense, in some form, it will keep coming up, keep coming up, keep coming up. So, I feel the audience interest for a solo performance is also increased in certain areas, certain localities. Maybe at least in Chennai, it's there. I don't know about the other cities, not much. Definitely it has increased. And maybe the dancers also need to think how they can hold the audience interest. We can't simply say that, okay, now what I like, I'm doing, that the audience watch or not watch. And the Marila, it's always, you need to please the audience also. That's other than a basic, you have to take it forward to them. That's very important. So, the artist needs to again think how her dance can be made better, or even the teachers might have to think about it. I think we will come up with solutions and we'll get to know what the audience actually like. But adukkaga vandu at no point of time audience ku idhaan pidichirukku, you can't lower your that you can't dilute that. I'm not saying about that. But there are people, I mean classic audience, who will definitely love this art. So அந்த மாதிரி peopleக்கு வந்து to reach out, I think it's the artist's job also. It's very important. Definitely வந்து, I mean I don't know about others, but I feel I can say one thing. இப்போ initially when I used to teach dance, இப்போ ஒரு குரூப்பில் ஒரு பேட்சில் வந்து 15 people இருந்தால் only or 2 or 3 people used to actually get into serious solo performers. Others will be just happy learning, dancing, and the madri. Because the reason being, they can't afford it also. But now what I see is, it's a very interesting thing. Every household has a dancer. So, in fact, the issue is, the Rasikas have the artists have become more. So our job is to help each other, go to each other's performance. That's one thing. And initially it was just 2-3 people interested in solo performances to even to become a professional artist. It was more out of liking towards the art, the joy of performing. These things were making everybody learn it. But now you can see every household having dancers. And I've noticed one more thing. The financial position of the parents have improved. They are able to support their sons or daughters to a certain level varikyo. And to have the joy of seeing their children on stage. Koota varudilla, you have your own audience, all that doesn't matter. Even that joy is very important to them. So because of that, I see in my class itself, there are so many solo performers. It's good, in a way it's good. So many of them are taking up to this. But it's again very important how many of them have the grit to sustain. Again, I always tell my students, giving an example of my senior dancers. Solo dancing again, Natyam or any art form is a tapas mari da irukano. Tapas mari eduthunda da adu seriya varum. You can reach greater heights. So you need the patience, you need the perseverance. You just say, okay, naan pone kachirikku naan sabha aditu adoda porunu vidra evlo per irukka. Appo adella nadandindu da irukum. That will go on. So idella neendi idella cross aayi innum beyond yaar poralo adu automatically kadavul adu mele vandidum. I think that's what is important, and I think in the mari artist ku nalla kootamu varum. It's as simple as that.
How do you conceptualize a story? As and when the idea comes, do you write it down, or how do you keep it in mind? Do you keep thinking about it over and over again? Do you churn the story so that you can see it in an Natyam format? How do you put forth those?
As I always say, this is the most difficult question. So because one thing is because the fact is what I'm going to say and what I believe in also. I think for any choreographer, it is okay. We do something, but most of the things, it just comes from somewhere. I am not responsible for what is happening. At least I believe that. Definitely, I can just go through the process. I can just tell you what I do. Then you can decide for yourself. So when a subject is given to me, or I choose the subject itself. So initially, I was choosing the subject. Whether it was Mahadeva, Mahasenam, Badhe, Sada Venkatesham. That was a time when I was always thinking of a subject where I can give maximum opportunity to all my students, all age groups. So my conceptualizing my stories were based on that. I can just give you one example, because again Mahadeva Mahasenam Bhaje is very close to my heart. I did it in 2001. So when a lot of young children, and my age group was 5 to 25. That was the age group of students I had, and a lot of lovely talented students. Okay, the Mahadevam, the Shiva part of it, we had all our elders, students doing it, that was fine. Then we had these younger students, so many of them very talented, and studies from the Tattadavu range, from there I'm talking about, from 5 to 25. So how do I kindle that interest in them? That's the thing. When I read the Kanda Puranam, in fact, see again, one of my uncles said there's a very interesting Kandanudiya Adal, Tiruvali Adal. It was so beautiful that when I read that the 3 stages of Lord Muruga. Tavadar stage, அப்புறம் தடுமாறி விடுற ஸ்டேஜ், அந்த மாதிரி ஒன்று the toddlers அந்த ஏஜ் ஒரு குரூப். அப்புறம் அடுத்த குரூப் அது ரொம்ப அழகாக வரும். ஆட ஒரு உருவம், பாட ஒரு உருவம், நட்டுவாங்க வேறு ஒன்று பண்ணுற, அது இதுலேயே இருக்குது, அந்த கந்தபுராணத்தையே இருக்குது. அது ஒரு ஸோ முருகன் 6 இல்லையா. ஸோ 6 குழந்தைகளுக்கு அங்கே ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி வந்துடுறது. ஸோ 3 ஸ்டேஜஸ்ங்கிறத 18 பேருக்கு சான்ஸ் வந்துடுத்தாங்க. அண்ட் சூரசம்ஹாரம்க்கு அது ஒரு இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் பெரிய குழந்தை. ஸோ இனிஷியலாக என்னோட தாட் ப்ராசஸ் இப்படி தான் போயிருக்கு. தட் இஸ் எவ்வளோ குழந்தைகளை இதில் போட முடியும், எவ்வளோ ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி அதில் கொடுக்க முடியும். அண்ட் அதில் கொரியோகிராஃபியும் எப்படி இருந்திருக்குன்னா, இப்போ நான் திருண்டு குழந்தைகளை வச்சுட்டு ஓகே அவள் தவழ இடத்துக்கு அதுக்கெல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுத்து தடுமாறி விழ அதுக்கெல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுத்துடலாம். பட் அவளை ஆட வைக்கும் போது தே நியூ ஒன்லி த தட்டடவர். ஸோ முருகன் ஆறுங்கிறதுனால திசுவில் வந்து தட்டடம் எல்லாம் அதில் மாற்றி தட் வாஸ் அ கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஸோ இட் வாஸ் மோர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் ஓரியன்ட். ஆல்வேஸ் மை திங்ஸ் ஹவ் பீன் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் ஓரியன்ட். அண்ட் ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்டேஜ் அந்த மாதிரி டெவலப் பண்ணின்னு வந்தேன். திஸ் இஸ் ஒன் ஸ்மால் எக்ஸாம்பிள். பட் பேசிக்லி ஹவ் ஐ கோ அபவுட் இட் இஸ், first any subject whether I have chosen or somebody has given it to me, I totally read it completely. I read it, and as I love stories, I love reading also. So when I read it again, I have to say God's grace, the visuals are already there in my mind. The moment you read it, இது நல்லா இருக்கும், இந்த சீன் நல்லா இருக்கும், அந்த சீன் நல்லா இருக்கும், இது இப்படி பண்ணால் நல்லா இருக்குங்கிறது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக தோண ஆரம்பிச்சிடும். ஸோ த கான்செப்ட் அப்படியே ரெடி ஆகிடுறதுங்க, மைண்ட்லேயே ரெடி ஆகிடுறது. தென் ஜஸ்ட் புட்டிங் இட் டு இதுங்கிறது த நெக்ஸ்ட் பார்ட் இஸ் அ மியூசிக் விச் இஸ் எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம்லி இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். either it is original lyrics from the great poetry content or it is written. So in the writing la see I had that great opportunity to work with so many wonderful stalwarts. Dr. P.R. Venkata Subramaniam Lena Arancha, then Neveli sir, Rajkumar sir, like that way. So the music is made. Again, when I plan the scene and make the music, it's two ways. One is the choreography is first ready, then according to that also the music is made. See, even Rajkumar sir, Neveli sir, even Subbu sir, dance உட்காந்து பார்த்துட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் அதுக்கு மியூசிக் கம்போஸ் பண்ணுறதும் உண்டு. பட் சில சமயம் அவள் பண்ணியிருக்கிற மியூசிக்கல் ஜீனியஸ்க்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி ஐ மீன் த மியூசிக் ஆல்சோ இன்ஸ்பயர்ஸ் அஸ். The both ways, the choreography is both ways. And the most interesting part is all my mega productions, all my group sequence எதாக இருந்தாலும், as I told you, I like to work this one-to-one work பண்ண பிடிக்கும். So I'll have one of my senior students who's working with me. Just a வீட்டில் the scene will be just ஒரு rough plan வந்து at home with the student. But then இங்கே வந்தோடனே it takes it to a bigger shape with all the students. And நம்ம யோசிச்ச மாதிரியே இருக்காது, அது வேறு மாதிரி ஆகிடும் சில சமயம். ஸோ அகெயின் இது நான் பிளான் பண்ணி பண்ணுறதில்ல, இட் இஸ் ஹேப்பனிங். அவ்வளோதான். நான் சொல்லுவேன், இந்த சேரில் வந்து உட்காந்தா சுவாமி தன்னால் கொடுக்குறாரு, பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஐ திங்க் ஆல் கொரியோகிராஃபர்ஸ் அப்படி தான் இருக்கும். அண்ட் இன்னொரு பெரிய விஷயம் என்னென்னா, ஐ ஹர்ட் முதல்ல எனக்கு பயமாக இருந்தது, பட் அப்புறம் ஐ காட் யூஸ் தட் திங். ஏன்னா கொரியோகிராஃபர்ஸ் நெவர் ரிமெம்பர் வாட் தேவ் கொரியோகிராஃப் லேட்டர். ஸோ திஸ் அகெயின் ப்ரூவ்ஸ் தட் இட்ஸ் நாட் இன் அவர் கண்ட்ரோல் அட் ஆல். ஸோ சம்வேர் இட்ஸ் சம் ஸ்ட்ரிங்ஸ் ஆர் பீயிங் புல்ட் அண்ட் we are just the instruments doing it. That's one thing. But again, either drama's conceptualization, group sequences again requires a lot of practice, and the finish varathukku, the group formation, the pindi formations, because I do give a lot of importance for all that. The beautiful formations are extremely important for me. And characters, that because as all of you know, like I love drama. So the dramatics are very important to me. The characterization, their body language, everything is important. That I personally work with each and every character. That's how I do it. So the basic concept and the music and the choreography is done like that. And costumes has always been my passion. I go with my friends. Again, my friends, parents are my friends also. So I go along with them. Over costume, I choose it myself. I like to do that. It's again, இதெல்லாம் passionate பண்றதுனால அது கஷ்டமாகவும் இல்லை.
தெரியாது.
So that's how it's done.
Okay, Auntie.
Lighting, every little detail, but to do a nice production, it takes minimum of 6 to 8 months. It's a huge one. But sometimes we do it just within a month also. It happens. the only thing I keep it in mind is, முதல்ல எனக்கு போர் அடிக்கக்கூடாது. So when you do something, you feel it's not nice, என்ன இவ்வளோ கண்டறவே பண்ணியிருக்கோம் நமக்கே சில சமயம் தோணும். See, it's very important for the choreographer or the artist to remember, when it's done well, you have to think it's God's gift. When you do it bad, you have to think it's yours. I mean, that differentiation. You be your best critic. That also happens sometimes, you know. So, being honest to yourself and honest to that, what you're doing is extremely important.
And if we move on to a rapid fire round, strength training at the gym or adove practice at dance class?
Adove practice. எனக்கு ஜிம் எல்லாம் தெரியாது. நான் மங்கு அடவு ஆடி தான் தெரியும்.
So, right age to start a dance class?
5, 6.
To teach?
See, teach again. I'll tell you, I started when I was 17. It just happened. It's a rapid fire action. But again, it's very individualistic. Your experience, your atmosphere. So age, I wouldn't say. But of course, it's again God's will, that's all.
How many years of sadhana before Arangetram?
That is also very individualistic. It depends on talent.
And also, would you say that the teacher should always make a call and not the pressure of the parents?
That is very true. It is always a teacher's decision.
Solo performances or group productions?
I love both, but I think I'm born to do group productions.
One other classical dance form that is your favorite?
I love Kuchipudi.
Learning from one teacher or honing your skills from multiple others?
Learning from one teacher is also good. But again, honing from different gurus is fine. But always remember to mention all of them as your gurus. Like you learn your lessons, I can't say it in rapid fire, I have to explain this. From childhood, you're being taught, you're being nurtured, and you're molded, and suddenly one fine day, just a person who's a mentor doesn't become your guru.
Yes, true.
I'm saying they're all gurus. Everybody is guru. See, for me, Radhakrishnan sir is my guru, Govindradhan sir is my guru, Ananda Akka is my guru. So they're all gurus at different times. That's all.
Your say on dropouts after Arangetram? Students dropping out after Arangetram.
It's a very sad story, but it happens. It's again very individualistic. Each one's wish to what they have to do. You can't force anything on anyone.
Your take on interlacing different dance forms in your production?
Yeah, I love doing it.
Thank you so much, Akka, for accepting to do this, and you sat through patiently answering all the questions.
No, not at all. It's absolutely my pleasure. And as I told you, I love to be with youngsters doing such wonderful things. I mean, it's absolutely my pleasure. Sai Ram, thank you so much.